Welcome to the ladies' dressing room. Today we are talking all about the weekly cleaning rhythm that changes everything. And this is something that I try not to miss doing. It really makes a big difference to have spaces that are clean wherever it is that you are getting ready and where you're waking up. And so within the lady of the house method, I focus on different rooms on different days. Monday is for the bedroom. So I hate to be the mother here, but sometimes we need to be told that we need to clean our room. And that is something that should definitely be done weekly. Of course, there are things that we should be doing every day to tidy up and whatnot, and just to clean up after ourselves, leaving the spaces better than we found them. But Mondays has a focus of bedrooms, at least in my home. If you have a different day that you focus on your bedroom, please let me know that in the comments below. But what I really like to do is change my sheets for sure. And then I like to vacuum the floors and dust. And that also means that I'm dusting my dressing table. So back when I created this method, I said that Monday was also the day that I would be washing all of my makeup brushes because it just made sense since my dressing table was in my room. Now, I've gone a little while without having a real dressing table in my room, but now that I do, it just really needs attention. This always needed attention, but I had these in my bathroom until recently. So for myself, and if you too have a dressing table in your room, this is a great day to focus on that. And I always thought, that made the most sense, not only because it was in the room, but because I was washing my bedding. I just kind of paired that with what I was laying my head on, and all of it just made sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to you, I understand. But cleaning our makeup brushes, if you apply makeup and use brushes each day, that's something that should probably be done once a week as well. At least that's what I would encourage you to do. I like to use some Dawn dish soap, and I will just, fill up a glass of hot water and pour some dish soap in there, and then let that set for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then I will focus on cleaning the brushes, adding a little more soap to my hand, just rubbing it or, agitating it with some hot water, and then squeezing out the excess water, putting them back into a jar and putting them outside to dry for the day. And then by the next morning, my brushes are usually dry, which is really nice. Now, depending on where your dressing room is located, you may also want to take this time to clean that space. I really like to focus on cleaning this space, like dusting it, vacuuming it once a week as well. And so I just pair it with the day that I also clean my bedroom. Now, I have bathrooms on a Tuesday, which is when I wash all of my towels and clean the bathtub or the shower area, the sink area, the toilet area. All of that gets a once over once a week at least. But any time that you notice that anything really needs to be done, it's nice to do it. That way, it's not something that's constantly on your mind. If the trash is overflowing, it's best to empty it as soon as possible. You don't have to wait for your weekly cleaning rhythm or, the day that it's time to clean the bathroom to empty out your trash, for instance. Just making sure that these spaces are well cared for really makes a big difference in how you feel whenever you go into them. And that is what I like to encourage my kids. That's what I like to encourage my husband in, just to remember that whenever you leave a space, it's nice to leave it better than you found it, even if, someone else is going to be going into that area, especially in areas that are community areas. But I just really feel that the bedroom, because this is where you wake up in the morning, this is where you lay your head at night, this deserves so much attention. You deserve to have a clean space to be in. You deserve to have beauty surrounding you. And so really focus on these areas. So just it really does not take that much to stay on top of this, especially if you've made sure to only have in there what you really need and what brings you joy, what's beautiful to you, and what you use. So this will require probably some decluttering at some point if your space is overrun and you have neglected this space for some time. But once it's done, then it's all about maintenance. And it really gives you an opportunity to appreciate the things that you have when it comes time to clean that area. And I know for myself, because I make sure to only have things in my space that I love, that the things that are beautiful to me, the things that I use because of that, it's not a chore to me to do those chores, as some would call it. So hopefully that encourages you to stay on top of your space. Sometimes we just need a little refresher, and that's okay. But taking care of our spaces is actually really part of choosing beauty every day. Which brings me to today's dress of the day, which is by Pretty Garden, and this was found on Amazon. This was a beautiful long blue dress that has some really pretty ruffle sleeves to it with kind of a lace detailing on it, and there's also a lace detailing near the ruffle part down at the lower part of the dress. And it kind of has a gingham print to it, not exactly, but you know, it has a check print to it. And it's so subtle, I really love it. It just is the right shade of blue for me and something that's very stunning. So I love this. Does it cover everything that I like it to? Not exactly, but it's not a no-go for me. There are some, you know, definitely different layering pieces that I can add to it if I feel uncomfortable or wherever the day takes me. But overall, it's just such a beautiful dress that has a really lovely swing to it. Now back to taking care of our dressing spaces. This is a great time to wipe the mirrors down, wipe down your magnifying mirror, whatever extra mirrors we have, but also not to forget those other little things that we touch on a daily basis. So whether that would be perfume or the glass tray, even if we're not touching it, dust settles on that. So just doing a once over of everything, anything that can collect dust. And that brings me to the lamp that I have now added to this space. I, for some reason, didn't think that it would look right in here, but I have since really changed my mind about that. I love the new addition here. And then too, some of you had commented about the mirror and seeing two talking Nickies. And so I'm really grateful that something was said about that, because it started to become a deal to make sure that I was able to be seen in there. And then sometimes it would focus on that and not on me in the mirror here. And I agree, it was a bit much. I do like having that here. Obviously, I like to use that every day, but there's something else that can be in focus in that instead of me. So anyway, if that was bothering you, and especially if you mentioned something about it, thank you. We have taken care of that and it will no longer be a problem. Today's dressing space comes from Myra. She said, "This is my dressing table. It is actually an antique sewing cabinet that belonged to my mother-in-law, who has passed on. I started to refinish it, but at this time I have decided to leave it as it is. The crochet doily was made by my mother. She has done this particular piece since she was 9 years old, and they are all over my house in every color combination imaginable. The bowl with my brooches and jewelry belonged to my great-grandmother. The shawl draped over my chair in the mirror was also my mother-in-law's. This space contains items that bring a lineage of Southern women together and brings me joy every time I sit at it. I have enjoyed seeing other spaces in this series. Myra, aka Southern Lady." Myra, you have such a beautiful space, and the fact that all of these things were collected by the other ladies within your family really has some value and meaning to it. And I just think that that is so, so neat to be able to look at the things around you and to use those things that others have made or that they had over the years, and to bring that beauty into your everyday and not to save it for someday or to pack it away to where you don't get to enjoy those beautiful things on a daily basis. So you've really put your space together well, and I don't blame you in wanting to hold off on refinishing the table. There's something about the charm of, you know, not redoing something sometimes. And so if it's something that brings you joy and, you know, there's really nothing wrong with it, then why not enjoy it as is? Thank you so much, Myra, for sharing your space with us. I know that it will inspire many other ladies as it has myself. And if you have yet to share your dressing space with me, I hope that you will. You can email me at inspiredbynikkiyt@gmail.com. Everything that you need to know about sending in your pictures is in my description box below, and I hope you will take time to read that before sending it my way. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that something in today's video inspired you in some way and that you will choose beauty every day.